Earth is the only planet in the universe known to contain life. To understand how unlikely that is, you have to understand the vastness of the universe. There is an approximate of 26 trillion planets just in the observable universe. There is an unknown number of planets beyond that because its light hasn't traveled back to Earth, light that has been traveling since the start of the Big Bang. There is no real way to put the number of planets out there into perspective, as 26 trillion is 2 followed by 22 zeros. Of that approximation, we have only discovered 5,811 planets that are also exoplanets. An exoplanet is a planet that revolves around a parent star. Earth is an exoplanet, and our parent star is the Sun. The reason why Earth holds life is because of its perfect balance of factors life needs. To make a planet habitable, there are several components that all need to be in place. The first of many factors a planet needs is to have the right temperature. The temperature of a planet is mostly dictated by the distance it is away from its parent star. The range of temperature needed to sustain life is about -15 degrees Celsius to 115 degrees Celsius. This temperature is very important as it is the approximate range water needs to be in to stay liquid. Water is one of the most important factors an exoplanet needs to sustain life because of its unique properties. Life has adapted to be heavily dependent on water for chemical reactions to occur, such as photosynthesis. The vast majority of life requires photosynthesis, so much in fact that the proportion of life that depends on it is over 99%. The need for water to sustain life is commonly called the Goldilocks zone. If a planet is too close to its parent star, the water on the planet will evaporate. If the planet is too far away from its parent star, the water will freeze. The distance away from the parent star and the temperature of the star have to be just right. Thus, the reason why it is called the Goldilocks zone. A habitable planet also needs an atmosphere that can shield life from dangerous ultraviolet radiation from its parent star. And the atmosphere must be strong enough to regulate a livable temperature. This next factor was mentioned with the importance of photosynthesis, but life needs a source of energy. This could be via light from the sun or from natural chemicals such as iron and sulfur. Similar to the importance of energy, nutrients are needed for life to be built and maintained. All terrestrial planets contain some sort of nutrient, but those with volcanic activity or water flow are able to transport those nutrients to organisms. There have not been any exoplanets discovered that follow all these criteria, but there are some that are close. Some of these planets closely resemble Earth but lack something mentioned, or we simply don't know enough about the planet itself. The closest exoplanet to us is Proxima Centauri b. This planet is still very far away, being about 4 light years away. This might not sound that far, but this distance is also equal to the distance the Sun is away from Earth, 253,000 times over. Discovered in 2016, this planet's landscape somewhat resembles Earth and is about 1.27 times the size of Earth. The reason why life can't live here is because of its lack of a stable atmosphere. Because of this, the planet is exposed to extreme ultraviolet radiation from its parent star, meaning the possibility of life is unlikely. About 10 times the distance, 40 light years away, there's a star called TRAPPIST-1. The star TRAPPIST-1 is home to a system of 7 exoplanets, all of them being similar to the size of Earth. All of these planets used to contain oceans, but have since dried up, except for one of them, TRAPPIST-1e. TRAPPIST-1e is the most likely to sustain life, but similar to the previously mentioned Proxima Centauri b, its atmosphere is breaking down and its habitability status is soon going to be changed. Slightly closer to home, Gliese 667c is 22 light years away. This planet is unlike the other exoplanets mentioned as it is way bigger. It is 4.5 times the size of Earth, and a year here only lasts 28 days. Even though it is relatively close to its parent star, Gliese 667 is a red dwarf and burns at a cooler temperature of 3700 degrees Kelvin. For reference, our Sun burns 2000 degrees hotter at 5700 degrees Kelvin. Despite these differences, Gliese 667c is still like the other exoplanets mentioned because of its weak atmosphere. The planet's constant exposure to solar flares make life here very unlikely. There are many other exoplanets that have been discovered that could possibly hold life, but these are the most notable that are also relatively close to Earth. How these exoplanets were found was largely in part with the Kepler mission. The Kepler mission was an attempt to find possible habitable planets by NASA. The mission started in 2009 with the Kepler Space Telescope launching into space to explore a portion of the Milky Way galaxy. In its 9 years in service, it was over 137 million kilometers away from Earth. This might seem like a far distance, but the Milky Way is massive. The Milky Way galaxy is about 100,000 light years across. We have only explored a distance of 0.0000145 light years, which is only 10 billionth of a % of our galaxy. But in this small distance, we were able to discover 5,811 exoplanets and collect tons of data on all of them, leading us to a better understanding of what is out there in space. In conclusion, despite our best attempts to discover what's in space, we have knowledge on just a tiny fraction of it due to the limitations of our current technology. As we advance and obtain better equipment to search more of our universe, it is possible that an exoplanet out there might contain life.